Quai. This is your co-host Rick Hunt here at Moccasin Tracks, and we are honored today to have Bryan Blanchette in his band, the Black Bears, and they are going to be playing a live set here. And let's see. Bryan is a singer-songwriter who brings more than 10,000 years of Abenaki tradition to his contemporary compositions. He began powwow drumming more than 2 decades ago, and soon after began writing Abenaki language songs. Bryan also studied at the Berklee College of Music in Boston. Recently, Bryan shared his thoughts about being a Vermont artist. For the Black Hawk Singers, a group I started in 2004, I try to keep the songs as traditional as possible. I believe and have been instructed that our culture lies within the language. It's with that in mind that I write new songs. Because our culture is alive, and I want people to understand that, I started writing and performing contemporary music a few years ago to bring the beauty of our language to a wider audience and more attention to our language and culture. This is from the Vermont Humanities interview. Bryan Blanchette and the Black Bears, who consist of Daryl Brown and also Patty Smith, are going to be playing live right here in our studio, and this is going to be great.
Right. This is birch trees inspired. So as Indigenous people, we say you need to decolonize, right? And nothing says decolonizing better than watching birch trees growing out of the rubble from a quarry, taking it over. And that's pretty much the inspiration for this song. This is Birch Trees. Birch trees growing to new mountains, mountains big and stone. They're taking back off in the distance. I hear the ravens. I hear the ravens song. Oh, they're watching. They got eyes.
Thank you,
Not sure that's
Bryan
going out, but yeah, it sounds pretty good in here anyways.
Blanchette. And the Black Bear, according to our gadgets here, we are broadcasting live from North Country Community Radio. Abenaki musician, singer-songwriter Bryan Blanchette, excuse me, Bryan, with the Black Bears, Daryl and Patrick. Yay. um, so you did a lot of writing during the pandemic a little bit?
I wrote a few songs. It was very difficult to for me to stay focused as an artist, because I really, in 2017 I was involved in a land reclamation project. I helped an older couple keep the remains of a Pocasset village that was in William Bradford's journal from being developed into house lots. And what caught me on this was his own writing. This was writing in 1620, or talking about the time that Winslow and Hopkins went to visit Massasoit. And the catchphrase is, soon upon crossing a forge in the Taunton River, they came across the most horrific sight, the remains of thousands of Wampanoags who died from the bloody nose disease several years previous to the British coming to these soils. So that would have been 1617, and it was 2017 when we were trying to protect the village. And just as I started getting going with this, it was 2020 when I was really hitting the studio, which would have put me right at the time when they would have discovered the bodies and saw what had happened. So there's been a big part of me really wanting to make the energy of this come out once we're in the endemic phase of everything that we're going. Like, writing in a pandemic was not something that I really wanted to do. But there's some good songs that came out of it, just like that one right there,
Mm-hmm. I really applaud your efforts. And over the years, you've been on the radio with Moccasin Tracks, and I really appreciate. And there's so much to be said that you've been able to study the Abenaki language and bring it out in your music. So it's so wonderful that you do that, and you're really committed to it. Can you just talk a moment about the language classes that are ongoing and will be an intensive happening at Middlebury College that I know you participate in?
So all year long. Hats off to Jesse Bruchak on his efforts for the language reclamation. I've said in the past that he's been like a one-man army, but that's no longer the case. He's the general and commander-in-chief, and he has many generals right now that are helping. And there's actually there's a group of us, that are friends, and that group is growing even larger. This year, I think there's going to be 40-something people slots at Middlebury College. So what goes on during the year is classes that Jesse's doing. Go to Indakina, and you'll see the classes this month coming up in February is going to be for beginners mostly. But I'm not quite a speaker. I can, at Middlebury this past year, I joked and said that my 10 vocabulary words, I got a lot of use out of. There's certainly more than that. But I was able to get my thoughts across, and that was huge.
Mm-hmm.
And it really came from the desire to be writing the songs and promoting it. The first few times I was singing new songs in a language, but the expression on people's faces were absolutely priceless. Watching Rick Abomswin coming in to the circle at Odanak, and we're singing an Abenaki grand entry. The pride on his face with the children that were coming in with them was just, it's surreal. So nothing can promote you more than that, or push you to want to do what I'm doing more than something like that. Really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're going to do truth. We got to do before. We're going to do truth. This next song, I was talking to a woman on the phone who's a school psychologist down in the city of Providence, Rhode Island. And she started crying when she heard that the student resource officer in Florida never went back into the school to protect the students, because she believes that's how she's going to perish one of these days, is in a shooting at a school. And then all the circus from the media discussing it afterwards. The song is called Truth, and it's really about the absence of it. What I've been doing while we fight and take this fighting. Want you, know I need you. I need you to hold
Very nice. Thank you, guys.
Evening.
Thank you.
Brave men have dignity. Cowards are claiming victory. Come too far to look back. Be proud, big heart, my children, my ancestry, because lies behind that can't be found. Truth you will see. And no one stealing from the free. It's our reality. Take what they want, not what they need. Cheat, lie, deceive. How they take from the free. Tendo que modina embacada. Tendo que modina embacada.
Wow. You know, Brian, I'd like to hear a little bit more about your band members that came with you today.
This is gonna be fun, yeah.
Yeah, you got like you got
So-
this djembe player, you know. Welcome, Daryl.
I'll start with Patrick because he's my
Okay,
neighbor,
Patrick.
my confidant, the man that's really kind of helped me through the pandemic because I've been living on my own during the pandemic. Me and my two cats, you know. And he's been great. Unfortunately for Patrick, we keep kind of changing the approach that we're going on, which changes his baselines every time we decide to do something a little different, you know. But this little trio of us, I like. I can take most places. Or, you know, we got a show coming up in where I'm going to in April. I'm going to be hopefully adding a drummer, because Daryl with another drummer. Daryl is, well, you're a drum master, right? Drum master at the Burning Man Festival since the 1990s.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, I can't get better talent for what he's doing, just sitting alongside of me, you know, and I won't get into the names, but it was because of my connection with the language program that I was introduced to Daryl. So, you know, if you're doing the right thing and the ancestors are happy, good things tend to happen, you know, and we've been playing together for Patrick almost 2 years now, and Daryl joined us just before in October of 2021. Right? Yeah, we're just really now, you know, it's one thing to get ready for a show. It's another thing to be thinking, you know, so we're recording. I'm recording. I've got almost a half an album, 3/4 of an album done, but I'm kind of redoing it.
Yeah.
Because I'm liking what I'm hearing now, and this is what we can reproduce
Yeah.
live on stage. So
Well, I love the mix up of the folks that you have in the group now, because it's multicultural, you know.
well, Patrick's my Irish elder.
Yeah, there you go.
Everybody needs an Irish elder, you know. That's with a name like Bryan. I need an Irish.
Right. That's beautiful. Really beautiful to see and to also hear the music, because I love that the djembe, the origins of the djembe, and how it's you know, part of your band now. That's really cool.
Inspired by Gali Sanchez, you know, Gali playing congas for me on Merrimack County. Just that upbeat, you know what I mean? Like, so when I recorded Gali, he said, when Gali first heard that recording, he went, I could put a million different things to this. And I went, that's funny because your conga playing influenced my guitar playing. You know?
Yeah. That's great. That's
Ready
great.
for one more?
Sure.
This is another song in what I like to refer to as a Benglish. You know, getting English listeners to listen to just to Beneke was probably going to be harder than most people would imagine. So I've been teasing with that, the Beneke lyrics. Next one is all in English. We'll discuss that one before we get going. This is called Love Is As Love Does. I was literally standing at a campfire in Waitsfield, and a man next to me said, "Love is as love does." And I went, there's a song in that. You know, and I had most of it written, but I just couldn't, you know. And then this summer, the inspiration for the rest of it came. So anyways, this is Love Is As Love Does.
That was wonderful. Yay. You know, you mentioned this word to me. Was that in the song Penny de Wannsee? Was that in a song?
Pony de Honzi?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't bring that.
Yeah, we didn't bring that.
Not prepared to play that one right
Oh,
now.
okay, that's
but
okay,
Pony
but
de Honzi.
Tell me about the word. Yeah.
Pony de Honzi. So I was at Middlebury this past summer, and my blood sugar was through the roof, and it was a combination that something was really aggravating me that I would rather not discuss in public. And I walked in to see Jesse speaking in English when I should have been speaking in Abenaki. My mind was just, that raw, and Jesse looked at me and he smiled. I told him what was going through my head, and he smiled and said, there's one word in our language that tells you what you need to do. Pony de Honzi, which means pony is just to lay a trap, and our language being constructed, really, right? It's polysynthetic. Pony de Honzi, so lay down, and the home it being the state of your mind, and Z meaning yourself. Pony the home Z. Lay down your that thought in your mind. You're the way of your mind, the heart of your mind.
Mhm.
So put that down. And I translated "Let It Be," and that was my final project for Middlebury. It's not something we've been playing around. I'm like, oh, I don't want to play that there. But I've got this last song I'd like to do is called White Dog. And it was inspired, we'll say, in 2017. And it's a story of a dog traveling around our world, wreaking havoc.
Okay.
I'll leave that up to your imagination. Anyways, what I'm talking about. But it's really a protest song in the Abenaki language. Ma'a, Gao, Boak, Miliki, gather and stand strong. Really is what we're saying. So and sometimes I feel like I have to this is called White Dog. It's not about you guys. Ready?
Basema